It's time to feel what you've been bottling up. Life in rural America isn't easy. The long hours, the constant pressures, the demands of the land, livestock, and family, it all takes a toll. We're tough and we've got grit, but somewhere along the way, toughness started meaning bottling up emotions and powering through. But here's the truth. That strategy, it's not working and it's poisoning us. Maybe you've noticed and maybe you haven't, but the numbers don't lie. We're breaking down and it's showing up in our bodies, our relationships, and in the rising suicide rates in agriculture. You don't have to carry any of it alone. There's another way. If you're ready to stop being weighed down and start moving forward, my one-on-one good movement guidance is now open. Visit the link in the show notes to learn more and see if one-on-one guidance could be for you.
I'll carry you, you carry me, we'll help each other through it. Come on and see, good movement draws good movement.
Welcome to Good Movement Draws Good Movement, the podcast where farmers, ranchers, and rural folks can grow relationally through awareness, understanding, and effective communication. Hey, it's T. I'm your host, and I, along with my guests, will be covering topics related to drawing good movement. Things like self and social awareness, brain science, positive psychology, extending grace, and so much more. We'll share tools that can help you understand why you are the way you are, why others are the way they are, and how you can use that to step out of self-told lies with grace and compassion to draw good movement in conversations, relationships, and life in rural America. Let's go draw good movement. Welcome back to the Good Movement Draws Good Movement podcast. We have Tom with us today, and we don't really know where this episode's going to take us. He said, "What are we talking about?" And I said, "I don't know. What you want to talk about?" If you get that reference, you get bonus points. So what do you want to talk about?
I don't know. What do you want to talk about?
Hey, no, don't start that again. Since you were last on, we got a bunch of new cows in our herd.
Yep. Fall work's over officially as of today, which is the 10th.
Yes, we're recording on the 10th of December.
And the last of the cows are leaving tomorrow. That's it. Some of them left this morning.
The last of the cull cows.
Yep. Herds are set.
Yep.
Everybody's got what they got.
So yeah, everything's in its final resting place. That sounds really morbid.
Yeah, that's not quite right.
Everything's landed.
Yep.
Where they're supposed to land as of tomorrow.
Yep.
And we got a bunch of new cows in our herd.
Most of them.
Yeah, most of our
There's
herd.
very few of ours.
Most of
our OGs.
We have only one OG.
Oh, yeah. Yep. And she knows it.
And I love her.
She has no friends.
Scarface. I think she could be a pet if I had worked on it.
I don't think it would take much now because she's kind of looking for a friend.
Yeah, because she's with a bunch of cows that are
girl.
Younger than her. She is the old girl. But aside from Scarface, pretty much everything is new in our herd, except for the few that came back that we've only had a year.
Yep.
Yeah. And the new ones, they have a lot of go and not a lot of woe. So we've been working on that.
We have.
And it's been going pretty well, actually. Because, okay, backing up, the way the ranch works is we shuffle herds. We don't always get to keep the same cows year after year after year.
Very rarely.
The cows that Scarface was a part of was like an anomaly because we had them pretty much from their first calf till now.
I can't even remember.
Yeah.
With some of them, yes.
We calved them as first calf heifers in
17.
19. They're 17. They were born in 17.
You're right.
Mark it down on the calendar, friends. I'm right.
Holy smokes.
So we calved them in 19, and we've had a portion of that herd. We've only not had Scarface 1 year.
Yep.
But she's been on this unit of the ranch her whole life.
Yes.
So anyway, we shuffle herds like that. And the new cows that we got are primarily cows that were developed as heifers in a backgrounding yard.
Yes.
And when they came back, they had a lot of whoa and almost no go. And so now it's been kind of overcorrected, and we're trying to put a little more whoa back into them.
Yes.
Yeah. So what does that look like?
Well, it didn't look good to start with.
No, I mean, what do we do?
Oh, for whoa?
Yeah, to whoa them.
For whoa. So it just so happened that we were actually, all the ranch guys were going through a stockmanship class with hand-in-hand livestock, which would be Bud Williams' daughter Tina and son-in-law. And it was just an anomaly that was at the same time, but we had weekly Zoom calls. So you had readings and videos, and then you had a weekly Zoom call. And it just so happened one night I got on there and there was nobody else on there. And awkward silence makes me uncomfortable. So,
he's a verbal processor.
So they asked if there was any questions, and I made the mistake maybe of opening my mouth, as I tend to do more often than I want. And then so it was another hour and a half, 2-hour conversation about what to do, how we're going to do it, what works, what doesn't work. But yeah, it's been a process.
Yeah, but what did we do? What did we end up doing to get the whoa?
Well, we tried a lot of different things, right? So you get cows from 3 different bunches, and they all take pressure differently, and they're all in different places in how they accept pressure. So I thought something to do would be to pressure them into a corner. And then when those that come out, those initiators of movement come out and they can't take it, we just go with them and we walk parallel to them until they're stopped. And then we, as politely as we can, just let them come back. And then you kind of start over. And that really, it does and doesn't work for the sizes we have. So kind of what we ended up doing was we took bunches. So the ones that are used to us weren't really a big deal. And honestly, most of the cows that we inherited weren't really a big deal. It was probably only the 100, 200 that were causing issues. And so we just took them and worked them. And we just drove them and got them kind of okay with us and accepting that pressure in the way we do things versus the way they're used to doing things. These cows that we inherited, they're very good at staying together.
Mm-hmm. Once you get good movement, like you don't have to worry about the lazy ones staying up in the hills or whatever. They're going to come. And I really like that about them.
Right. And I really don't want to take that out of them.
What I found or what I noticed helped the most there for that little while where you were still running around helping at the other places and I was moving and handling the cows was when I'd move, I would be going parallel with them and like slowing that down and like taking the energy out of myself. But then when I'd get to the gate, like I would have the gate shut and I would open it for them and make them walk past me and ask them to walk past me, ask them to stop, ask them to slow down, like at the gate where I had a little more help just from the gate.
A crutch.
And after doing that a few times, I was then able to, on the move, stop them, slow them down more easily, stop them, make them go, etc. And I did that probably 3 times going through the gate. And by the 4th time I did it, it was no problem.
But it didn't start that way.
No.
How many bailed?
No, 2 bailed. Like when the first time that I asked them to do this, there was actually a little more pressure because that fencing trailer was sitting there. And for some reason, there were 3 head that could not take the pressure of walking by the fencing trailer with the gate post on the other side. Like it was just not, they couldn't do it. Two of them bailed over the fence into not a neighbor pasture. It was the next pasture. And one of them just took off the other direction. And the two that went into the next pasture would not go back. So I took them through a different gate. And even then,
after some work.
Yeah. Even then, like it was some work to slow them down and get them to like look at the gate, but they did not want to go through that. 2 gate posts was just too much pressure. And then the third one that stayed, I went back and eventually, by giving her a lot of space and a lot of time to think, like I think you text me that day and you're like, "Are you okay?"
Well, I saw you.
Oh yeah, because you were moving solars.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. We're just taking our time and making this a positive experience. And she finally did go, and I haven't even noticed her the last 3 times I've moved.
Yeah, so, you couldn't pick her out?
No. And I should be able to pick her out because she has no tags. And there's not very many. There's only her in there that doesn't have any tags. But I think in this conversation too, what you and I have talked about is sometimes what we want to do or what we think we need to do to slow down or stop cattle is actually the exact opposite. Like,
oh yeah, it's tough. It's super tough.
Like you think, oh my gosh, here they come and they're going fast. I should get in front of them and like go towards them, but that speeds them up.
You can get in front of them. You just have to have a lot of room or really good boundaries, one or the other. Retreat,
and leave a lot of space and then go the same direction they're going.
Right.
Not go towards them.
Absolutely not.
And I think that's a little bit counterintuitive. And I think, making the parallel to humans, I think sometimes the way we interact with humans, what we want to do is counterintuitive to what actually will get the job done. Like say you want somebody to open up to you about something, pushing on them and nagging them to open up is going to do the exact opposite of, hey, I'm here, and give them space.
Right. Like, trust me. You're right.
Yeah.
So like there's a reason I didn't go out there to move them that particular day because mentally I'm burned out, plain and simple. I'm over the cows for a while. The next cow I want to see better be on a plate, medium rare type of deal. Like I've just had enough for a little bit. I've been moving, making the moves, but mostly I've been fencing and watering and you've been moving the cows because I just need to mentally regroup and recover from fall work because it's a lot. And so had I been out there to move them and those 2 bailed and 1 run back, I'd have lost my mind because I'm just not, I would not have been where I needed to be to make it better for them to move us forward in the right direction.
I think even me just telling you about the situation, you lost your mind just a tiny bit. Not like you did anything about it. You just said you expressed frustration with that situation.
Yeah. There's thousands of head that we go through every fall and everything has to flow. So like we've talked about the speed of commerce, etc. Like at the end of the day, these need to be here so we can ship X amount of trucks this day. The next group needs moved up so they can ship or go to wherever they need to go. Regardless of how they perceive you, how you perceive them, it has to move forward. However that needs to get done. And sometimes it's not always the right way. It gets done. We try the best we can, right?
Yeah, but I think this year we'll be set up better because the cows aren't leaving us.
Yeah, 100%. We talked about that in our group, actually. It's great that we don't have to send those cows off to come back.
The group as in the other herdsmen on the ranch, on our unit.
Yeah, everybody. Yep. Everybody has their own bunches and they're all staying. In fact, we took another bunch on for the winter. So
that was more so because we had the feed and because we need some roads fixed.
Yep.
So what are your plans for the winter now that it's slowed down?
Fence and water.
Yeah, but you do other things too when we're a little slower.
Yeah. I'm really going to try to just do what I have to for the cows. But unfortunately, there's enough country that gets not neglected, but put on the back burner.
Well, it doesn't even really get put on the back burner. It's just the way we graze our meadows. We don't go to all these pastures throughout the growing season. So they like the tanks, the fences only get gone around one time a year. The tanks only hold water one time a year if they're solar onlys, and with turtles and muskrats and moles and all the things with our bottomless tanks, that the water is going to be a project in and of itself this winter.
Absolutely. And if anybody wants to comment on a solution to a bottomless tank, if you know what a bottomless tank is, it's just what you think it is. If anybody has a solution to that does not involve concrete because you can't get a concrete truck there, I'm all ears. Our solution is going to be to make our own concrete. Hopefully we're good chefs and we make the right recipe.
But beyond that, like when we're slow, you have time to
go to ball games,
play
basketball in the shop with the kids.
Yeah. And then your hobbies.
Not too many hobbies.
And the other things you're interested in.
I'm thinking about giving one of my hobbies to one of the guys on the unit, because we found out this morning he has no hobbies.
Like you have a hobby in mind that you're going to give away?
No. He just needs a hobby.
What are your hobbies, though?
I have too many hobbies. We don't need to talk about that here, I don't feel like.
That means he just doesn't want to share. Am I going to get in trouble if I share what your one hobby is?
Depends on which hobby you pick.
You're forging?
No, I don't really care.
He forges knives and makes cool metal things in the wintertime. Yeah, cool metal things, because you made the hardware for my saddle.
Mm-hmm.
You made my saddle, but in addition, you made the hardware. You didn't purchase it.
Right.
Well, you purchased the metal.
The steel,
but then you made the...
And we forged all the hardware.
Yes.
Yes.
That's really cool. And I really like my saddle a lot. That's the most comfortable saddle I've ever ridden in. Well, can I just say some things about being your wife and observing you all these years? So usually this burnout happens at the end of calving and branding season. This year, at the end of calving and branding, you didn't have that crash and burn like you normally have. And I don't know what made this fall so much. Even I felt it was so much more than what it normally is. Like, I love fall work and I loved it this year, but it just felt like it was, oh, after this week we'll be done. But then that week came and it was like 5 other things had to get done. It wasn't just like we're into December and we're not done technically till tomorrow.
Not technically. I mean, we've honestly been done for a while. There's just some cows that need shuffled yet.
Like loose end crap. And normally by this time of year,
before Thanksgiving, we're wrapped up and over with.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know what it was about this year, but it was just different. And I don't know, 2 weeks ago was when the fit really hit the shan for you.
That was it? It was only 2 weeks ago?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. It feels way longer than that.
Yeah. I mean, like you held it together pretty good until a couple weeks ago. And that was the day that you were 0 for 2 on solars working. And you were like, I'm over it. F it. Let's go bowling.
Yeah. There's a lot of autonomy here to either make it or break it. And at that point, it's not that even I had even broke a lot of stuff. I hadn't broke anything. It just stuff didn't work like I want it to work. I'm about effectiveness and efficiencies. And if it doesn't work right, we're going to make it work right. So yeah, we tied into those projects and we finally had to go get help, or I finally went and got help getting things fixed and put together because I couldn't find out what worked and what didn't work. So we took them to town to the guy that supplies our water stuff, and he told me what was good and what was bad. And when I came back home and put it all back together, what he said worked, and I didn't bring the stuff that didn't work home. But I thought you were referring to like 2 weeks before that when we sold the cows, when it really hit the fan.
Oh, no, I wouldn't even say that was really hitting the fan. That was just being aware and having a conversation. When you were like, F it, let's go bowling, I feel like that's when it hit the fan, that day with the solars.
So it was like a precursor?
Yeah, I mean, like it was just, I think fall was just like a dung beetle rolling up more shit. And then the solar day was just when it hit. I will say, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I kind of am tooting my own horn because in the past, I would have been like, shut down and deal with it on your own. But I have learned about myself. And then that in doing that and just shutting down, it doesn't help me. It doesn't help you. And so instead of doing that, I was like, hey, can I help you? Let's go do this and let's try this. And we took those pumps out to the tank and tried to see if they worked. And I would say we were marginally successful.
But nothing was consistent, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So the tank issue with the tanks not holding water, we know that's a problem.
Yeah, I'm prepared for that.
But the solars and the pumps not working, that was like an unexpected deal.
And the expense, the cost, right? So we were coming to year end. So it's never a good thing when you call the well guy and it's going to be $10,000 and you're already over budget. So what do? Do you ask for forgiveness or permission at that point? So it's a tough spot to be in. It's not a great feeling. And that was just for our camp, not even our unit, right? So if I'm experiencing that, what are the other guys experiencing?
Yeah, because everybody on the unit grazes the same way.
Yeah, and they come here for parts.
Right.
We try not to go to town unless everybody knows. If you're going to town, everybody on the unit knows. So you can make one trip, pick up a lot of stuff and come back and, disperse your dispensed stuff. So yeah, it was mentally, I was smoked. And I don't know how to get a grasp on that because they're not going to wait.
Can I just say, having been married to you for almost 2 decades, we've been together for 2 decades. That's a long time. We should be proud of that.
I am.
Anyway, your awareness and processing of it, like this year, yeah, it was a big deal that day and you're tired, like you're still tired and you recognize your burnout and you know what you need to do now to resolve that. But it's just quicker. Like years past, you've been pissed off for
months.
Yeah.
Months.
Yeah.
You don't come out of it.
Yeah.
So like now, hopefully we're on the road to recovery faster and next year will be faster yet. But
when I would even say though that it's gotten better, like staving off the burnout altogether, because usually you hit this spot in the end of June, middle of June, end of June, July, and you didn't, like that didn't happen this year.
I don't even remember. I don't remember getting too worked up.
That's because you didn't. But in years past, you have.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Again, I don't know what it was about this year in the fall, but it just was like.
And it shouldn't have been because we put a new set of pins in and we utilized those pins. So everything up here with the shipping pins was less congested, but I can't explain it. We didn't ship everything. Like typically we ship all the steers and the feeder heifer, or the cull heifers the same day. Yeah, I can't explain it. But this year is like just drug on and on. And we're going to ship this day and we shipped. And okay, we're going to ship this in 5 days. Okay, well, in that 5 days, you might have to go preg 3 of those days someplace else. So 2 guys are left here to sort and get cattle situated.
I think part of it too was all the culls didn't all leave at the same time.
Yeah, and that group of culls, it's made up from 3 herds is, any cow that's going to market. And then there's open cows for that. And there's pregnant cows for market. So we had a new opportunity to ship cattle to a different location. Somebody else was going to market them differently. They wanted to come in and sort cattle. That's great too. So they go through all your culls.
It's mostly all good things that happened this fall, like the new pens and the new opportunity for cows to go different places.
Absolutely.
But it was just a lot.
There's a lot of hoops.
Yeah. And the new set of pins, there was some setup because it's not quite finished yet. And we could work out of it. It just wasn't like there's some gates that need hung and extra days of setting up.
And granted, we still went through several hundred in less than 6 hours. So it's not like things aren't efficient around here.
Oh, yeah. But the day that we pregged ours, I was doing the pregging. And we use ultrasound technology here. And the ultrasound machine died. About 50 or 60 head were left to be checked. So I got to do that the old-fashioned way.
Well, if you'd have gone faster, it wouldn't have died.
It was also the coldest day that we pregged on this unit that day.
Still wasn't that terrible considering what we have done it in.
No, that's true. That is true. So what are we looking forward to this winter while we're slow? Fence and water?
Fence and water, got to bangs heifers, scour guard heifers, pour cows. We didn't pour this year, pregging, because we kept all the cows and it wasn't cold enough. We didn't feel like, so they didn't have a lice load. So
I still don't think they look very lousy.
no, they're not, but they're starting to rub. So, I mean, first of the year, we'll probably
I guess I haven't seen them since last week, so maybe they are now.
bring them in and pour. That's about it. Hopefully a recovery period for me and my mental state
Yeah, we got
shorter.
this episode is airing. It's live now after Christmas, but we're recording it on December 10th. So obviously before Christmas. So we got Christmas to look forward to.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully chill out, hang out with the kids.
Yeah, they have an extra long Christmas break, it seems like this year.
Sounds good to me. Get a bunch of stuff done. Maybe they want to go fencing, work on conditioning.
Fix water.
Yeah. Run shovel.
Well, with that, until next time, draw good movement. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm so grateful for you. If you found value in this episode, I'd love for you to share with others who might also benefit from tuning in. Share by word of mouth, send it in a text, take a screenshot and post it on social media, or share however you prefer. And if you haven't already, hit the follow or subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Until next time, draw good movement.